Hello students, welcome to the next module of our lesson Microorganism, Friend and Foe. So first, we'll recall what we learned in the first module. First, we had learned about the introduction of microorganism, that what are microorganism or microbes, okay, why they are named as microbes, then where are they found, and the third one was groups of microorganisms. So what were the major groups of microorganisms? There were five major groups of microorganisms. Do you remember that? So what were those? First one was bacteria. Then we learnt about algae, then fungi, protozoa, as well as viruses. In today's module, we are going to learn about the useful microorganism with few examples. Now, what are the uses of microorganisms? Microorganisms are very useful to us in many ways. Uh, First is like microorganisms are used to prepare vaccines for various diseases. They are also helpful in the agricultural sector, okay, as they enhance the fertility of the soil by converting the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form. They also act as a natural cleaners. How? Because they decompose the dead bodies of plants and animals. Okay. Then microorganisms are also used for making many food items, as well as it is also used for commercial use. Commercial use means what? There are certain products being produced by the use of microorganisms and are being sold on a large scale. Let's learn about the first use of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used to prepare antibiotics and vaccines. I think everyone might be aware of antibiotics and vaccines. Yes. So actually, the antibiotics or the vaccines are produced by microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. So first we'll learn about antibiotics. Antibiotics are nothing but it is a medicine, it's a natural substance that are being produced by bacteria and fungi, and they're used to fight against the bacterial infections. Okay. Now, how do they help in fighting the bacterial infection? They prevent the bacterial cells from multiplying so that its number remains the same, and then its immune system fights against the infection or they kill the bacteria. And we have already discussed that antibiotics are not effective in viral infection. And do you know the first antibiotic which was produced was penicillin? Okay, and it was produced by who? It was discovered by whom? It was discovered by Alexander Fleming. He was a Scottish bacteriologist, and in the year 1929, and that also he discovered it accidentally. What happened? He was working in his laboratory on a bacteria named Staphylococcus. Okay, so what did he find? He found that there was a little green mold developing on the dish on which this bacteria was being kept. So he observed that due to the presence of this green mold, what happened? The growth of the bacteria was prevented, and it not only prevented its growth, but it also killed many of these disease causing bacteria. And from this mold only the antibiotic penicillin was discovered. Now penicillin is used to treat certain infections which are caused by bacteria, like it is helpful in the treatment of pneumonia or other respiratory problems, and it is also helpful in skin, mouth or throat infection. Now, the next use of microorganism is in the production of vaccines. Okay. Now, what is a vaccine? Vaccine is a substance, okay, that has been introduced into the body to stimulate the body's immune response. Now, it is given to prevent an infectious disease from developing and the person becoming ill. Means before the person gets infected by any microbe, prior only a vaccine has been given, so that the person can, fight against that disease. So vaccines are made from microbes. Microbes means maybe a virus or a bacteria that are dead or inactive. Okay, so they are harmless, so they are not able to cause any disease. Now what happened in this microbe, there is an antigen means it's a toxic substance. Okay, the same toxic substance is present in the vaccine. Okay, so what happened, the vaccine stimulates the body. Stimulates means what? It increases the ability of the body to produce antibodies. Antibodies are what? This is a protective protein, okay, which has been produced by our immune system, okay, in response to the presence of any foreign body. If any foreign body enters inside the body, so what happens? Our body produces antibodies to fight against that antigen, that is that toxic substance. So what happens now if the person is vaccinated? Okay, so the antibodies has already been created by their body. It has been already been produced, and that is been present in their body. So when next time when the person gets exposed to any microbe, okay, so what happens, the immune system remembers that antibody it made when that vaccine was introduced, and thus in the second time what happens, the antibodies are made faster. So in this way the person is said to be immune to that pathogen. Now, a vaccine can be either injected or it is given orally. Now, in your childhood, you might have got injections or vaccine drops to protect against various diseases, and a particular vaccine is given at a particular age. Yes, so this is called as the immunization schedule. And do you know, children, who discovered the first vaccine? It was Edward Jenner, a British doctor. He discovered the first vaccine against smallpox in the year 1798. Now let's see the other use of microorganisms. Microorganisms are helpful in agricultural sector also. So let's see how they are helpful. Now the atmospheric nitrogen, that is the nitrogen which is present in the air, okay, cannot be taken directly by the plants and animals. We know that 78 percentage nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, a huge percentage. So but this nitrogen cannot be directly utilized by the plants and animals. So there are certain bacteria like rhizobium, as you can see on your right hand side, the image of rhizobium bacteria, as well as blue green algae. Okay, it is not an algae, but it's a bacteria. They are present in the soil, and it converts the atmospheric nitrogen into compounds of nitrogen which are called as nitrates. Okay, and these nitrates, where is it present? It is present in the soil. Okay, so that can be easily utilized by the plants. Now when the plants and the animals die, okay, now the bacteria and the fungi which is present in the soil converts the nitrogenous waste present in their body into nitrogenous compounds which can be again used by the plants. Okay, and there are certain bacteria, okay, which converts some part of this nitrogenous compound into nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere, just maintaining the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere, that is 78%. So more or less the percentage of nitrogen remains constant. Do you know, children, microorganisms work as a natural cleaners. Okay, so when the plants and animals die, the microorganisms like bacteria and fungi which are present in the soil, they feed on the dead plants and animals, converting them into simple substances. Okay, which are restored to the soil and increases what the fertility of the soil. Now these substances are again used by the plants and animals. Thus it helps in what, in degrading the harmful and smelly substances and thereby cleans up the environment. Hence they keep the environment clean and hence called as natural cleaners. I hope till here, the topics which we have covered is clear to you all. An interesting role played by the microorganisms are to make, various food items. For example, curd, cheese, paneer, that is cottage cheese, then for making bread, pastries and cakes. Now what happens now, this the dairy products which are fermented dairy products, like the curd cheese as well as cottage cheese, these are produced by inoculating the microorganism, that is introducing the microorganism into the pasteurized milk. Now what is a pasteurized milk? It's a raw milk which is pathogen free, that is microbe free. Okay, and how it is made, micro free, by heating it at a definite temperature for a certain period of time. Now for example, for making curd at home, you might have observed your mother taking a lukewarm milk and adding a spoonful of yogurt to it. Now, the milk has two important things present in it. Okay. Now, one is a protein called as the casein protein, and the other is a sugar called as a lactose sugar. So, what is the name of the protein present in milk? Casein protein. And what is the name of the sugar? That's the lactose sugar. So when we add a spoonful of yogurt to this mild warm milk, what happens? The yogurt, that contains what? A bacteria named as lactobacillus, which is a useful bacteria. So that converts the lactose sugar present in the milk to lactic acid by the process of fermentation. And what is fermentation? Fermentation is a process by which, microorganism feeds on the sugar, and then due to the breakdown of sugar, it gets converted into carbon dioxide gas and alcohol. Now what happened? Now due to the acidic medium, what happened? The protein present in the milk, that is the casein protein, starts, forming clumps, and it forms a solidified mass, and this solidified mass is what? It's nothing but the curd or the yogurt. Okay. Now, in the similar manner, cheese and cottage cheese are also made by the action of bacteria, lactobacillus and streptococcus on milk. Now, for making bread, pastries, and cakes in the, baking industries, yeast cells are being used. Now, yeast is a fungus. Okay, so what happens? For making bread, yeast along with a little sugar is mixed with flour to make the dough. Now these yeast feeds on the sugar. As a result, what happens? The sugar gets broken down into carbon dioxide and alcohol. And this process we already learned now. This process is called as fermentation. So as a result of carbon dioxide gas, the dough rises up, and when the dough is baked, carbon dioxide gas escapes from it and making it light and fluffy. Now, yeast is also used in making food items like idli, dokla, and dosa. So what happens due to the fermentation, the mixture rises and becomes sour. Let's see the commercial use of microorganisms. That is, microorganisms are used for the large-scale production of alcohol, wine, acetic acid, or vinegar. Now, who helps in production of all these products? It's the yeast cells. Okay, they are used for the production of alcohol and wine, whereas acetic acid is used by the action of some bacteria. Now, in all these production, the process of fermentation has been implied. So let's see what is fermentation once again. It's the process of conversion of sugar into alcohol by the action of microbes like yeast is called as fermentation, and which gas has been evolved, that is carbon dioxide. And it was Louis Pasteur who discovered the process of fermentation in the year 1857. Let's learn some other uses of microbes. Microbes are also used in the process of tanning. What is tanning? It is a process, to convert the animal skin into leather, and this is done with the help of a bacteria. Whereas it is also helpful in the retting of jute. That is, in jute industry, separation of fibers are done by the action of bacteria, and this process is called as retting of fibers, okay, or retting of jute fiber. The third one, bacteria is also helpful in generating biogas. So they act on the waste products and produces biogas, which is used as a fuel. Now, last but not the least, some bacteria are present in the digestive system of ruminants like cows and goats. So, these bacteria help the ruminants to digest the cellulose which is present in the grass and plants. And do you know there are few useful bacteria present in our digestive system, in our gut also, which helps in the process of digestion. And do you know the name of the bacteria present in our gut? That is Escherichia coli or E. coli, which is helpful in the digestion of food. Do watch the video carefully, as in the next session, few questions will be asked related to these topics. Thank you.